Hi everyone, welcome back to the next part of my Hovership MHQ2 Build, a 3D printed quadcopter. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to mount all the electronics. I've got the receiver strapped in here, right there. And I fed the antennas up to this little mount, which will sit right here, I guess. The GoPro will go right there. I'm currently printing a new mount for the Fat Shark camera. The Fat Shark camera will mount over here and then be high enough to go over top of this. This is the micro OSD, which will fit right back here. I'll be able to tuck it in, and a small little zip tie will hold it down. The camera transmitter will mount off of the back end like this, except flat, of course. How's that? It'll mount back there. I'm guessing the GPS will go here. Now this is the transceiver for my ground station, and I do need this. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it though. This is 915 megahertz, so it's not. I don't think they're going to interfere, but this might drown this out. I don't know. I really don't know where the hell to put this thing. So I've just got it sitting there for now. So I'm not really sure what to do. I'm going to wait till my camera mount is fully printed and then just sort of test fit everything. But so I think most of this is going to be good. I think this is fine here. I just don't know what I'm going to do with the micro transceiver. That's a tough one. These are only here for safety. They're not actually putting any real pressure onto the plate. They're there just for safety, so that when it gets whipping around, it doesn't accidentally just pop right off all of them and fall off. So there's one on each side. They're, again, just safety. So I'm having a hard time figuring out where I'm going to mount all of this stuff. There's a lot of electronics. You know, I do want the transceiver on there. Well, you know, maybe that transceiver doesn't always have to be on there, because if I am flying FPV mode, I have all the telemetry coming off of here, and maybe I don't actually need that, but I do need it to start with. So I'm going to put it on. I guess I'm going to put it on there, but I'm going to plan on maybe taking it off later. So that's something to think about. So my mount is printing. This is the same mount as my other mount, which is... Where's my camera? I've lost my camera. Oh yeah, well, I'll find it. But it's just taller, so that it can raise up above the GoPro. Okay, well, I'm going to think some more, and then we'll come back and see what I've thought about. So thanks for joining me on my 3D printed quadcopter build. Cheers. Alright, I'm back. It is actually the next evening from where you just saw me leave in the video a few seconds ago. Excuse me. I almost forgot to do an update as to what's going on. So, I'm almost finished, actually. I've really only got 2 more things to do, so let me catch you up. So I've got the receiver mounted on a piece of foam and a little bit of zip tie, just holding it down. The micro OSD is mounted. I had to cut its cables and replace them with some regular pins, headers. The cables that it came with, so the video cable, the cable that comes out goes to the video camera. Its plug was too big. It's right here. It's too big to fit in to the Fat Shark. Also, the wires are in the wrong order for the Fat Shark camera. So I cut it and I put on a regular plug, and I'm going to use the cable that came with the Fat Shark. This one plugs in. It's fairly long, so I've got it. You can see the gray cable there. I've got it kind of coiled up and zip tied there, and its ends in a 5-pin locking plug, because it's supposed to generally just plug right into the transmitter. The other plug that comes out is the video out that goes to the transmitter, and it had this 3-pin locking on it. Now, this wasn't going to work for 2 reasons. One, because it's a 3-pin locking, and that's a 5-pin locking receptacle, it just wouldn't fit, because the lock and the 3 pins are on this side, so it just wasn't going to line up. Also, the wires are in the wrong order. So I just cut both of those off and made my own plugs and got it all wired up. I've got the power going to the transmitter, so that's done. The GPS is mounted on some Velcro and then a zip tie to hold it down. I don't have any more sticky stuff. Otherwise, I would have just used sticky stuff, but I hope the zip tie is not going to be a problem. I've got some Velcro here. This is my new mount for the Fat Shark. I got some Velcro on the bottom. You can see the hole there. That's just to make sure the cables come out. The Velcro is just to really keep it from sliding around. It'll actually be held down by a zip tie that goes through that little slot and around out the hole, and there's one on the other side. That's actually to secure it. The Velcro just keeps it from really sliding around. So yeah, all I got to do is put a zip tie on there and plug this cable in, and basically it's done. This is going to be my battery mount that I'm making. Whoops. This is the first print that I did, but it turned out to be a little too thin and not quite what I wanted, so I was making another one, but I've been reusing I put down the glue and I just reuse it over and over. I've done about 5 prints on there already. So the last print I was doing kind of, I'm sitting here working and not even paying attention to my printer, and it sort of broke off and kind of bird's nested. So I'm just waiting for it to cool down so I can clean off the glue, put some new glue in. I've made this actually a little thicker, a little heavier infill to give it a little more strength. These, you can see this slots up on top, just clips right onto here. Sorry, I'm not even pointing at this. It clips right onto there. And then, of course, it clips on the other side. This piece that I'm going to be reprinting actually goes into those grooves. You can see the corresponding groove there. And that'll actually just be epoxied on, just to give it strength. There's going to be some uprights coming off of the corners here so that the battery just fits in there perfectly centered. Right? If you can imagine a couple of uprights. I'll give some video of that later. So the battery will be perfectly centered, and I'm going to use that as my battery mount. It'll keep it nice and solid off of the nuts, and it'll just be a much better solution. And it doesn't really add any weight, so I'm okay with that. So that's it. That's all I've got to do is just finish printing the new support, glue it together. I got to zip tie this on, and I'm done. I am actually done. I had some good luck earlier. This knife here pretty much sliced my finger really well right there. You can see it's bleeding. It did a pretty good job of bleeding. So why do I say that's good luck? Well, as anybody in the RC hobby knows, there's a saying in the RC hobby world, it won't fly unless you bleed on it. And I definitely bled on it, and on my mat, and a little bit on the carpet, and on my pants. But hey, that's a good thing, right? It won't fly unless you bleed on it. So I'll put my my GoPro back on there. There's just enough clearance that I'm not worried about the wires being crushed. Everything is done. It's going to be good. So the camera is at its high point. It's actually probably, I'm not sure if it's too high or not. It's a bit of a wide angle. So I'm hoping that once I've got it zip tied down and solid, and then I can actually try it out, put the battery on and actually try it out and make sure that it looks right. Otherwise, yeah, there it is. It's a done deal. So once I get the battery mount made, I will do one more video just showing off the whole thing, and I'll pick it up. And we'll look around, and then I'm going to go outside and I'll put the props on. Just pop outside into my garage and spin it up. I'm not going to fly it. And then hopefully tomorrow evening the weather cooperates and I'll be able to take it out for its first flight tomorrow night. Okay, so that's this update. I'll be back in a minute to complete this part of my build. Bye. And we're back, and there it is, the fully completed Hovership MHQ2 3D printed quadcopter. So it's done. I got my battery mounted. I've made my own little custom mount. The reason why it's made like that is because I need to be able to shift it around. So when the GoPro is on the front, the battery needs to be slid to the back to counterweight. And then when there is no GoPro on the front, the battery will be slid forward, again, to give proper balance. couple of things I had troubles with was, first of all, just things that I didn't realize or forgotten to do, actually. So using the external compass and GPS, on the regular APM2, there's a jumper that you pull off. On this one, right here, there's two little solder blobs, and if you look closely at them, and you take a magnifying glass, and right in between the solder blobs, right at the bottom by the board, is a very tiny bridge that you have to cut with a knife, I guess. That's what I used. And so that enables the external compass. That was a pain in the neck. And then, of course, the micro OSD is exactly the same as the minimum OSD. So you have to go ahead and flash it with the latest release of minimum OSD Extra R800. And then you have to go into the APM mission planner, that is, to the advanced settings and find your serial settings for SR0 and SR1. And there's a web page you can find that'll show you what settings to use there to make it all work properly. And I'm still having one last issue that I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but when I calibrate the compass, no matter what I do, it's always 30 degrees off. So when this is pointing true north, the compass actually thinks it's pointing 30 degrees north, east of north. So it's a little bit off there, and I don't really know why. So I got my props on. These are 50-45s. Now, I mentioned when I started this that I was going to go ahead and just use the stock arms and some 5-inch props for a while, and then switch out to the 6-inch props and the extra long arms. And I'm wishing I hadn't have done that. I'm wishing I would have started with the extra long arms just to begin with, because in order to change those arms, you kind of got to take the whole damn thing apart. And I'm not looking forward to having to do that again. So make your decision early. If you're going to use 6-inch props, just go with the long arms right off the bat. Save yourself the hassle of having to take the whole damn thing apart. And so there's my custom battery mount that I've made, and I took a few tries. And the weather is not going to cooperate today, so I'm not actually going to be able to get to go fly it. But I'm going to go out. It's kind of dry right now, so I'm just going to pop out to the yard and fire it up and see what happens. Anyway, so there it is, the completed quad. It's pretty cool. It's it's got a lot of heft once you get that battery on there. I almost worry about it, but whatever. Okay, so see you in a mo. Well, there it is, everybody. Out here in the sun, almost sun. The weather's not going to cooperate today, but I just wanted to spin those props up, and I'm not actually going to fly it. So, the hover ship, or the MHQ2. I hit the wrong button there, sorry about that. Okay, I was trying to zoom out, but I accidentally pushed the power button. Okay, so, just to show off the whole kit, I got my freestyle transmitter, which is about as big. Oh, and then of course, the Fat Shark So there's the kit right there. I can't wait to get out and fly this, but again, not today. However, I am going to just plug it in and get some beeps going. I'm only going to use this just so I can see what's going on with the GPS and with the compass, hoping that really all the problems I was having was just because I was doing it inside. So, let's figure out how to plug this thing in. There we go, it's all plugged in. Let's see what's going on here. Oops, that might help. Take the lens cap off. And I have no on-screen display. What the hell? these are so tight. Why the hell do these things have to be so tight? Alright, well. That's weird. No on-screen display. Everything was working perfectly before. Oh, God, why do these things have to always be so tight? There we go.
Telemetry lost.
Yes, I know.
Telemetry recovered.
So easy to plug in and so hard to unplug. Okay, so now I've got my OSD. That's weird. And why is it telling my battery is low? I got the GPS fix. Okay, 5 GPSs. Let's see if it's pointing north. No, 30 degrees off and north. That's very annoying. It really is. Huh. Oh well. Like I said, I'm not actually going to fly it, so. Yeah, that's going to need some tuning here. Definitely going to need some tuning. Not really spinning the right way. Got lots of fold. But it's probably because it's just not on level ground. So yeah, definitely going to have to tune it, but there we go. That battery is too tall. That's part of the problem I had. So that's interesting. Yeah, so there it is. I'm going to go ahead and post this video. Thanks for watching my MHQ2 build. And tomorrow I'll get out for the maiden flight and we'll have some fun with it. Alright, bye.